I hope you're enjoying the experience, everybody. But we keep in mind as we continue this party here that customer experience is not a program, not for the best builders. It's a way of life. But here's what you have to understand. You do not get to own your description of your customer experience efforts. That belongs to your customers. They get to do that. And so the question that I would just challenge you with is this. What would your customers say about the customer experience culture in your organization? How would they describe your CX program, if you will? How would they describe it if they were using a movie title? Would they say it's Love, Actually, or perhaps a series of unfortunate events? If they were using a song title, would be You Are So Beautiful, or maybe simply just Bad. I don't know. But customer experience is not what you say, it is what you live out. Last year, I had the profound privilege of speaking at a conference at St. Jude's Research Hospital in Memphis. It's absolutely life-changing to go there. The tour that you're going to take there will just change you. And it's not primarily, to me, at least the medical service, it's not the cancer care. The entire experience transcends anything that you could read in a brochure or even imagine. The customer experience efforts there are world-class, and they are highly visible to the families of the children. Now, quick question. Do they care if it's programmatic? Do they care if the customer experience efforts are all written down in a book somewhere? Do they care? No, they do not care. As long as the experience is amazing, and it is, families rave about their absolutely horrible experience. Now, a little closer to home, a little less dramatic. Let me tell you about the ushers at the Sacramento River Cats Stadium. This is the AAA team for the Giants. It's close to where I live. And it's not just about being responsibly helpful. They are literally on the lookout for people who need help. And even if being on the lookout means they just see a confused look, and they go out of their way to try and figure out, how do I help you? Can you imagine if our construction crews and our trade partners all behave the same way? They just saw a customer who looked a little confused and went out of their way. Now, next question. Do you think that those who attend a Sacramento River Cats game care if the customer experience initiative is programmatic and it's written down in a manual somewhere? Do you think they care? No, they don't care. They only care about the way that they are taken care of. And ultimately, customer experience can be boiled down to one foundational principle in one simple word. And the word is respect. When we have a high degree of respect for the people that we serve, we actively look for the best experience possible. Poor customer experience is a sign of a lack of customer respect. Our hope here is that even over these couple of days that you have felt loved on and taken care of. Why? Because ultimately we respect who you are and we respect what you do. And so I want to bring out two practitioners to talk more about this. These are people who are living customer experience every single day. Please welcome from Zonda, Molly Carmichael, and from Eliant, Bob Mirman. And I want to start by looking at our industry and thinking about some of the common CX customer experience mistakes get made. And that includes some of the easy potential victories that are just overlooked, that are just really cringe-worthy, right? So tell me why so many builders, they overlook otherwise really, really simple things. And I know you both have an opinion on this. Molly, you want to go first?
Sure. To me, it boils down to three things. The very first thing is technology is changing a lot. And one of the most common things I see here and hear from customers is there's a quick response to go to the internet, go to our website and go there, right? And they do, and they probably did before they got there. That's number one. Number two is once they've done all the research online, they want to talk to you and they want to call you. And I've done a lot of research on this, and those phone calls often don't get answered. That's a big deal. Answer the phone because they still want the human. Imagine Jeff Shore if he said, just go to my internet, go to the website. You know, you love Jeff Shore and they want to love you. And then the third one is, the answer is different depending on the age group and the research and the experience level that they have. Right.
Bob, I know you know a lot about this at Eliant. You survey on the behalf of your builder clients. I'm sure you lost count a long time ago how many surveys you've sent out. But what are a couple of things that you just look at and you go, this is so simple and yet cringeworthy in the way a lot of builders handle it?
3,125,806.
Thank you so very much. I don't think he made that up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We are data wonks.
Yeah.
There's a feeling perhaps that builders are blind to the issue of customer experience. I don't think so. I think that they are selective in terms of what they want to be blind to. Everybody has priorities. Listen, I don't blame them for not paying attention to the way that I would do it. It's all about their experience, and they want to be there. It's like, that's the reason why we put that book together, Jeff. Yeah. Remember, we wanted to educate builders about the importance of the customer experience and how easy it was to do that. But they're not all going to follow that. But the fact that our book has been so successful, I think, leads to us to suspect that it's happening that way.
Right. Absolutely. When we think about the experience that our customers are going through here, I want to talk specifically about communication. And Molly, you just touched on this in regards to the phone call. I want you to go a little deeper with the data on that. And then I'd like to hear from you too, Bob. But when it comes to communication, so much of this has to do with just how the customer feels heard or unheard. And that's going to start even in their search process. So tell us more, because the data is there. Now, again, we sat down, we spent an hour together. We've got the charts and the graphs. You're going to want to download that. But tell us about the power of the phone call from the buyer's perspective.
Absolutely. So the interesting thing is when we ask customers, when you go through the process, how do you actually want to reach your sales associate? And so we've seen things like chatbots and email and all these different ways, because we're getting into this, technology way. The numbers and the high percentage, without a doubt, they want to reach you by telephone first. And by the way, like instant, immediately. If they don't hear from you within 30 minutes, they likely will go on to someone else.
But here's the rub on that, though. You not only research buyers, but you research salespeople. Well, what did they say about it?
So that is interesting, too. Yeah. So we asked the salespeople and the customer, and we married that data together. Yeah. Salespeople were far more likely not to use telephone as that instant response.
And to rate it much lower.
Much lower. Yeah. And without a doubt, the customer rates that as number one. And think about it, you guys. We're all going at like 5 million miles a minute, right? They want instant answers. They've spent likely days researching everything online. And then once they go to make that call to then say, hey, I want to see this home, they want that instant answer. Text was number 2. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, chatbot last year was 1%, and this year it was 0%. And there's just again, it's just responsiveness. And I don't want to spend 15 minutes teaching the chatbot how to answer my question, which is why I just want to talk to you.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, because we can look and say, this is a really profound takeaway. You can stand out in a major way by answering the dang telephone.
Well, and I'll also say it wasn't just the customer who said that, hands down. I literally went through a series of interviews, and of all the interviews, they'd say, I just want to reach them by phone. I asked every single one of them, let's try it right now. Of all the interviews we did, only one person answered the phone on all of our interviews.
Interesting.
Went right to voice.
Interesting.
I think in that regard, I think it's important also for sales associates to get a good feel right from the beginning about what the customer's preference is. Mm-hmm. Some of these things are our preferences. Sometimes we don't choose to make phone calls because it's much more difficult to give bad news over the phone, as an example. But if we know that our customers are saying, a customer says, I only will respond to text, like my kids. They don't respond to email anymore. It's a forgotten art. Right. So you have to know what to use in that respect as well.